you just got out of college, or you may have been out of college for a while, but you still haven't been able to find your groove. You don't have any time to waste with recreational activities that don't move you closer to the goal that you're trying to reach. First point is, do your work early. So do your work early is a term that we used to use in basketball. Doing your work early just means, I'll give you a few examples. If you're a post player, you're doing your work early, you come out of the gate at the beginning of the game, you want to establish your dominance. You want to beat your man to the spot. If you're on offense, you want to get there and you want to get position so you can catch, turn and face, or whatever your style of play is, and put the ball in the basket. Doing your work early for a guard could look like you asserting your dominance on the offensive end, which means you're the first to attack. You're poised, you're controlling your team, you're controlling the flow of the game. And then on the defensive end, you come back and you're a terror. You're vicious, you're hounding the other player. That sets the tone early. That lets the other player know, look, I came to play, I came to win. If you want to win, strap up, let's get serious. This point is mainly for current collegiate athletes. So doing your work early as a current collegiate athlete could look like starting to prep now. And that could look like getting interested in internships. What's the process? What are the procedures? What do you need to do to secure an internship that can give you some experience before you leave college if you don't plan to go play overseas or go to the NBA or take that next level at playing professionally? You'll come out with some experience. So when you're applying for jobs and you go in and sitting in these interviews, you can have something to call upon, as opposed to just saying, yeah, I was an athlete for 4 years, I lettered. That's great, but it doesn't necessarily translate into the work world. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. It's awesome. You accomplished a lot and it's very impressive, but this is a new game that you're playing now. So you have to play the game how the game is to be played outside of sports. As an athlete, doing your work early in preparation for civilian life could be joining organizations. You could be in your student athlete committee. You could try to get involved with student politics. Just something to show that you take initiative, you're responsible, and you're about the betterment of your community, whether that be the student body community or that be the community that you're going to be in when you graduate school. Second point I can make is accept what you don't know and then get busy trying to find it out. That means you need to be resourceful. You need to have humility in understanding when you don't know something, but you also need to be resourceful in trying to figure out what it is that you don't know or what it is that you want to know. So that could look like not being embarrassed about not knowing how to go about finding a position in your field, or not knowing how to apply for jobs, or even search for a certain kind of information. Get around people who do know how to find these things. Get around people who are resourceful, and then you can learn how they do what they do and be able to apply it on your own. All right, point number two. Point number two for me is going to be to have humility. And this is more so geared toward the current student athletes as well. But this could also double for the former student athletes, former collegiate athletes also. One point I'll make under having humility is have enough humility to mingle with the student body that are not playing athletics, they aren't playing sports. One reason why I say mingle with them is because this will allow you to grow your network. And growing your network and mingling with the student body will allow you to have more opportunities upon graduation. The funny thing is, sports, and in certain sports, just speaking for myself, like in something like basketball, it's a very ego-driven, bravado-centric sport. So you have a tendency to kind of look down on everybody else who isn't on scholarship or who isn't playing basketball like you are. Because it's such a heavily marketed sport and it's such a highly sensationalized sport, and people enjoy it. You do genuinely have fans. But on the flip side of that, as a player, you can tend to kind of distance yourself from the quote-unquote regular people who aren't playing. And that could be a big mistake because, while you're playing and traveling the country and having these experiences, your student body, they're doing internships, they're getting opportunities, they're getting job offers. You never know who their parents may be. Their parents may be connected. So graduation will look a little different for you as it will for them, because they may be able to just roll right into a career that they set up for themselves, as opposed to you. You have no internship experience. You have no clue how to navigate the job market. Really all you've done is lettered in your sport and just had some fun times. So definitely have to have humility, mingle with the student body. It's a good thing. You'll find some great people. You never know. You might stumble on some opportunities. And my third point under do your work early is be productive in your free time. So I've talked to a lot of athletes and they tell me, oh man, I don't have that much free time. I have study hall. I have individuals. I have weights. I have one-on-ones. I get in the gym on my own. I get my shots up. Be that as it may, I always tell them I've been there as well. And I was in the gym an awful lot, probably more than I should have been. And even with that being the case, I still had free time. And in that free time, I could have been studying things that I had curiosity about, as opposed to being so consumed with the sport that I was involved in. In that free time, I could have been studying careers. I could have been studying different things that I could have done with my degree. I could have been studying where I wanted to go with my next degree. If I wanted to go to graduate school, I could have been studying, how to build a business, how to build a company, how to get together with people and rally around each other to be able to put something together that we could carry over into our civilian life after we were done being athletes. So it was no shortage of things that I could have been looking into in my free time, but I chose to go and try to be involved with females and go hang out with my guys and kind of just do mindless things, kind of the things that you do when you're a kid and you got your own free will and you pretty much autonomous, and no one's basically telling you what to do in those moments. So just me looking back to give insight to you as a current student athlete, use that free time wisely. Use it to get ahead. Be inquisitive. I say be inquisitive because you need to ask questions. And when you ask questions, you need to listen intently for the answer. Don't just ask questions to make it seem like you're interested or try to be manipulative or make someone feel that you're listening to them. Ask the right questions and listen to the answers. Oftentimes, when you ask questions in a genuine manner, people are eager to give you information, to give you the correct information that could potentially move you closer to your overall destination. Being inquisitive can come in handy in so many ways. You could come to find out that just by you being genuinely interested in wanting to know and learn more, once again, you could stumble upon opportunities to be able to, improve your quality of living and put yourself in a position to be able to get a job opportunity or to be able to get connected with someone that can potentially help you. Next is an alternate route. Say you plan to be an entrepreneur. If you plan to take that entrepreneur route, I know from my experience, there was a lot of instances where I would spend a lot of time with my teammates. We would be together almost all the time, every day. So if you're with your teammates that much, why not try to devise a plan to come up with a business idea while you're in school so you could be nurturing it and learning it and growing it. So now you've built a bond with your teammate or even someone from the student body. So now you built that bond. Now you get out of school and you don't have to do the legwork of finding a group, getting together, trying to conceptualize, and then build around something that you may not know the person as well. But if you built that in undergrad, you've bonded with these people, you've cried, you've shed blood, tears with these people in the line of battle, aka line of battle, your sport, it'll flow a little bit better and you'll have a better foundation laid. So now if you do choose to, you could go out there and get involved with business. You could go and secure that business loan and feel confident and trust the partners that you're in business with to be able to execute and get it done. The second point underneath being inquisitive is, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this one, but That's all right. I'll accept it. I'll take it. This is just my 2 cents. You don't have to listen to anything that I say, but I do think some of it is helpful. So the second point I'm going to make is be present in trying to gain your success as a civilian. Be more present in doing that as opposed to trying to live in the past and reminisce on the good days and still trying to go out there and sign up for those recreational sports, recreational basketball, recreational football, things like that. And the reason why I say that is there's nothing wrong with those things inherently. It's fine to do that, but you just got out of college, or you may have been out of college for a while, but you still haven't been able to find your groove. You don't have any time to waste with recreational activities that don't move you closer to the goal that you're trying to reach, or they don't move you closer to your autonomy. So I'm not demonizing those things. I'm just saying you have to prioritize. Sometimes you may have to put that stuff on the back burner and get down to business to ensure that you're putting yourself on a track to be successful. Point number 4 is prioritize structure and organization. This is arguably one of the biggest points, and this is one of the biggest points because this is something that a lot of the athletes and former athletes that I've talked to, they really struggle with. Prioritizing structure and organization, the biggest thing is, the biggest reason why that's important is because it's going to give you direction. As an athlete, we had direction because structure and organization was mandatory. We had to have those 6 a.m., those 5 a.m. lifts. And then we had to have those individuals. And then we had to have those practices. And after the practice, you had to get shots up. Then you had to go and eat at the calf. And you had to go to class. And everything was set on a time schedule. Everything was laid out for you. That is structure and organization. So it's very hard for you not to be successful when your days are blocked. Everything throughout your day is time blocked. So you have to take that same framework, same structure, and apply it to your life as a former athlete, as a civilian. I see a lot of former athletes when they leave school, they gain weight, they get out of shape, and they beat themselves up about it. But that's because you couldn't make what you learned or what you obtained as an athlete correlate to your life as a civilian. It is helpful. It's helpful if you can make it correlate into your life as a civilian. But overall, the biggest reason why you need to prioritize structure and organization is because it's going to give you direction. It's going to give you something to aim for, and it's going to give you a path, a straight and narrow to be able to follow. You have to understand that if you're a current athlete or a former athlete, this is the only thing that you've known for the last 21, 22 years. So it gets a little tricky when you have to do it yourself if you haven't. It gets a little tricky when you have to do it yourself if it hasn't been solidified and become a habit, which means you've been present during that whole time. So that's point number 1 on that. That is one of the most important points. Another reason why you want to prioritize structure and organization is because it can lead to just overall better health. It can lead to overall better physical health, emotional health, mental health, spiritual health, and all of those things combined, that compilation of things could potentially lead you to better financial health. And even if it doesn't lead you to better financial health, it could lead you to a better thought process and way of thinking to be able to move yourself closer to having financial health. This is just some practical insight that I want you all to be able to use and apply to your life exactly where you are. If you feel like you're in a hole, digging yourself out of that hole. If you feel like you're at baseline, if you feel like you flattened out, to be able to reignite that energy and get back on that trajectory of success. I appreciate everybody for watching. I'm gonna be a lot more active, dropping a lot more videos, putting out a lot more content. So like, subscribe, so we can go ahead and grow this channel and get this information and insight out to other athletes that current athletes that need it and former athletes that need it as well.